Shall we start? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first webinar of Early Childhood Association Kerala chapter. I'm Sushma Nalapat, Territory Head of Kerala chapter and your moderator for this webinar. I hope all of you are staying safe in this difficult time. Now, before we begin, a little bit about Early Childhood Association. The Early Childhood Association is a wonderful initiative that brings together all the stakeholders of early years, be it teachers, media, parents, experts, students, and so that the childhood years can be enriched. It is a support mechanism for all these stakeholders, and it brings to them all the international research in child development and learning. So it is a wonderful association where you get the answers to all your early years problems. We will be sharing the link to the website of Early Childhood Association in the chat, and I request all of you to explore the website and see what are all the resources and options available to all of you. Now, this is an exciting day for all of us. For one, this is something new. None of us have ever done this before. And it is so great that we are all joining you from different parts of the world and all at a click of a button. I do not have to specify what COVID-19 has done to the world, but somewhere it has also opened up new opportunities and gives us new ways to connect, educate, and stay together. And that's what we are doing today. Our topic for the day is families and educators supporting learning at home. We have lined up an eminent list of panelists for you, and I'll just briefly introduce them before moving on to the discussion. First and foremost, we have our mentor, our ever-supporting mentor, Mrs. Suman Sood. She's here to support us and give us a backing for this particular program. So I'll just introduce her. Mrs. Suman Sood is an E.C.A I National Core Committee member, and she's been working in the space of primary and pre-primary education since 1990. She's a former director principal of Mongrace Montessori House. Presently, Mrs. Sood is the director of BT Memorial. In E.C.A, she mentors 3 territories, Kolkata, Odisha, and of course, Kerala. Next, we have Ms. Sharon Matthew. Sharon is the Joint Secretary of E.C.A Kerala chapter. She is a passionate early childhood educator with 30 years of experience. She was trained in the UK on early years education and on special needs. Her contribution towards supporting and improving the quality of early years education is remarkable and tremendous. He's currently the director of a very innovative school in Kerala called My School. We have Ms. Priya Manohar with us. Priya is a gold medalist in economics from Mumbai University and has a very interesting professional trajectory. Led by passion and a strong desire to be a game changer, she has worked in areas of sales, marketing, product development for a very famous publishing house in Kerala, Purna Publications. Later, she found herself foraying into teachers' training, editing textbooks for the early years, and authoring children's books. She has trained over 5,000 teachers in Kerala, Karnataka, and UAE. She is also the creative head of an early years curriculum, Kinder Delight. Let me now introduce Ms. Pranita. Pranita is the treasurer of E.C.A Kerala chapter. She is currently working as the division head of BISL's early childhood curriculum, which is an international curriculum following the EYFS framework. Pranita has a work experience of more than 9 years in the field of teaching, teacher training, and research. She is also a Teach for India alumni. Our next panelist is Ms. Aisha Jasser, a passionate early childhood educator and researcher. She is joining us from Qatar, and where she's currently working in a British school. She has been associated with the Sadbhavana Group and has made immense contributions towards teacher empowerment programs and curriculum development. She's known for her innovative teaching style. She also trains earlier educators. Last but not the least, we have Ms. Karen Ann Jolly joining us from UAE. Karen is the kindergarten coordinator of Eminence Private School with more than 15 years of experience as an early years educator. Being a talented teacher for the early years, she's committed to maintaining high standards of education with emphasis on developing skills, Her interest in music, poetry, physical education, drama, and the arts and craft has built a passion and aptitude in her to be flexible and creative in her teaching style. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for taking time off and joining today. I also welcome our viewers. Dear viewers, we hope this panel discussion will be very fruitful to you. If you have any questions, please do type it in the question answer window, and we will try to keep the last 10 minutes for answering your questions. In case we cannot, we will find a means to answer them for you offline. I would also like to inform you that we are going live on the E.C.A I official Facebook page. Now let's move on to the task at hand. So the first question is something that I throw to all the speakers. I will call out your name, speakers, and answer as I call out your name. Please try to keep the answers brief so that we can cover more ground, maybe 2 to 3 minutes maximum, and to the point, because I wish that our panel can give more information to the viewers and cover more ground that way. Okay. One of the most significant things that we need to teach children right from the early years is the importance of family values and upholding them. Especially for us Indians, it's something rooted in our culture. So it's really, really important. So can we say that this lockdown is giving families an opportunity to build family values? If your answer is yes, how? So I think we can hear from Sharon first.
Okay, yeah, okay. So now I'm unmuted, yes. Thank you, Sushma, for starting off on a very positive question, actually, because, COVID-19 only brings negative memories because all of us are talking about negative things all the time. It's brought in lockdown, it's confined us to spaces, etc. Okay, so it's very good that you started on something positive. And that reminds me of a Chinese proverb which says, misfortune may be a blessing in disguise. Yeah. So that kind of sums up your question that actually this lockdown in many ways, I believe is going to help families build a closer connect with their families. Okay. And I want to keep it really short because this is a topic that we can discuss at length. But what I want to give, what I want to tell the parents and listeners is that I went through a couple of reading material, which I want to share with you. So the WHO has brought out a 6-page documentation on parenting at home during COVID times. Same thing, UNICEF has brought in another beautiful document, which is really worth referring. And so has the University of Washington. So these 3 documents are very good for parents to go through. In fact, I like the WHO document I really like it because it's made into small posters. And each poster explains what exactly the parent should do at home to bring that connection with the family and to bring lasting memories during this time. So I don't know whether I have time to go through each of them because they have brought out 6 things. Sushma, do you think I have the time to go through that, or should I just stop with the information that I've given?
Or maybe you can briefly mention them, and what you can do is we can also share the links, Sharon, with the viewers so that they can go over it in their leisure.
In fact, I want them to go through, Sushma, because when people read through it, that's going to be easier. So it is WHO, it's the UNICEF, and the University of Washington.
Yes, we can share the link in the chat window, and you can maybe briefly mention it because it will give some insight.
Yeah, perfect. So there are 6 things that WHO says to bring, to connect families together. So the first thing they say is have personal time with your child. Even if it is 20 minutes per day, that 20 minutes is important. Okay, so I'm keeping it really short. Then keep it positive and avoid bad behavior. I'm just connecting their 2 points. Keep it positive, avoid bad behavior. What they mean by that is, if you set a routine and you tell your children the do's and don'ts of what is expected of them when everybody is going to be at home, which means there is, in a lot of ways, you avoid bad behavior. So, suppose, the a working mother is on a call and there are children disturbing, she's obviously going to get irritated. But in advance, if you have told them that, okay, these are your boundaries, this is your time, this is my time, then things are more, happier. So what they say is keep behavior positive as far as possible, avoid bad behavior, talk to them about COVID. That is another very important thing they say. Please talk to them about COVID, tell them the positive things, reassure them that things are going to be okay soon. Because, there is a lot of anxiety and stress in children. Yeah, because see, we are listening to news, we know what's happening around, we are able to understand, we are connecting with our peers, but the children are not getting the answers to the anxiety that's in their mind. So one important thing they say is that every day, at least once in a week, forget every day, at least once in a week, talk to your child about the pandemic that is happening around them, reassure them that everything is going to be okay. So in conclusion, what I want to say is that this can be, it's a blessing in disguise, like the Chinese proverb says, busy families, busy mothers, busy, no events, nothing. This is the time to connect, but do the right things so that the memories are positive. Thank you, Sushma.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. And like I said, do share the links on the chat so that our viewers can look at them.
Sure.
Next, I move on to Aisha. Aisha, give me your views.
Yes. Okay. I think just like how Ms. Sharon was saying about connecting in a positive way. So I think this is a marvelous opportunity for parents to strengthen their family ties. And also, I think most of the parents, we can see the photos on social media, how parents are utilizing this time effectively and more positive way, building connections with children. They are working together. I mean, it might be a very simple thing that they are doing, but they are involving the child in the daily routine because the fathers, especially the fathers, are there at home. Sometimes the children nowadays do not even get time to sit and have a dinner with all the members of the family. We are so busy. We are so tight, a lot of engagements. So this time, I think, in a positive way, where they spend quality time with their children. Maybe just in the cleaning up of the house, they involve the child in all the activities. They set up a proper routine for the child. So that way, I think this definitely is the right time to build a family strength and values. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. Karen, give us your views. Mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. Yes, like the two of them said, I do agree with everything that they have said. And as we know that families now, they are spending a lot of time together every single day, right? And for me, I do believe this, that a child's reflection is based on the parent. Exactly what the parent is will the child portray. And family values are built strong on the foundation of the family. So it is very important for the parents to portray a good character and be very positive, because the child absorbs everything that they are doing. So simple things like good choices that the parents make, and the way they go about their daily routine, and give their child responsibilities, and guide them along the way with positive strokes, with positive comments, to build their confidence and bring in the values in that child. And right now, with all the trouble that's going on around us, parents are worried, but it's very important for the parents to take time and be good listeners, sit down and listen to their children, to care for their children, to show concern and love, especially at a time like this. And this is the best way that they can inculcate good values, because respect and kindness and all this is so important in a child's development. So yes, this time is very crucial, but it's also very effective for the family to bond and build on those family values. That's what I would like to say.
Thank you so much, Karen. Next, I move on to Priya. Priya, please share your views. It's still on mute, Priya. Roshni, can you unmute Priya?
Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm total agreement with all of the earlier panelists who have spoken about the positivity coming out of the situation. It is definitely challenging, but there are two key words here. One is values. Values, I personally feel, cannot really be taught. They have to be imbibed. So, like Karen just mentioned, it is all about living by example. So if it is a part of your life, fantastic. The second thing is about the word opportunity. Now, opportunity is also a very happy word, and it is a matter of choice. Again, I think it was Karen who mentioned that there are many distractions for adults as well. So it is important that they prioritize what is important, they make the right choices, and they set a timetable where, when it is a child time, there should be absolutely no interference and no problems coming in the way of communication with the child. Again, active listening being the most important part. One more thing that I would like to add is that there is the possibility that adults would like to lounge around, put your headphones, maybe watch movies. That's all fine. But when the child comes to you and say you take off the headphones and you listen to your child, that is the value of respect. You hold the child's hand, take them out into your private garden, spend time with the child. That is about true connection. So ultimately, I think it is not about building family values during lockdown, or not, during times when it wasn't a lockdown. It's basically a way of life. And I think it's a choice that adults need to make, and children will learn from that example. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Priya. So, Pranita, you're the last person to comment on this question.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sushma. I totally agree with what all the other panelists have said. Yes, we are spending more time. Our children are spending more time with their parents. When it is in a physical classroom, they get like 6 hours of time with their teachers. But here, they are totally at home with their parents. All their ears and eyes are open. So it is most important that the parents showcase what their children has to learn from them. So it is the parent who has to model them the values they need to build in the child. For example, like if for modeling the same, what the parent has to do, the way the parent communicates with each other, with the siblings, with their daughters, with their sons, everything matters when it comes to inculcating values in their children, because they are too observant, they absorbs everything. Also, the like how we can do that is like making the child being part of all the activities that we do at home. For example, make them applaud them, and support them, and make them feel that their perspectives, their thoughts, their feelings, everything is being given space. Provide that space for the child, so that this, like Ms. Priya mentioned, all these values will be inculcated unknowingly in the child. So also, like as Sharon mentioned, it is our responsibility to set the rules and regulations and routines, just like it has to be part of their routine, which will normally take them to having the values as which is grown within them, than telling them you do this, you do that. No. Also, we can make sure that children are actively participating in all the household chores that we do, like make them feel that they are treated as individual, and that is very important when it is coming to inculcating value based system in the family. So I think, like, we all totally agree with, like, this is the best time, like, give them the activities, make them part of all those things that we do in daily life. Appreciate what they do. And communication is something which is very key aspect when it comes to, building the value based learning within the family. So encourage the child to talk about and spend time with the family, talking about what they have done good, what they have done bad. So this is how I think I feel that we should actually give them that space to come and, be part of everything, and likewise will be able to create the value based learning within the family. Thank you, Mr. Shah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Pranita. So I think from this, there are certain common points that we can take away. One is that parents need to be role models for their children, because children learn by seeing what the adults are doing. So it's very important because they're spending all the time with the parents now, and they don't have the teachers to look up to. Then second thing is, when you try to be a role model, do it right, Sharon? So as you said, do some research, read up so that you do it right and you don't make mistakes. Then make sure that you have a good stream of communication with the children, and have positive reinforcements, and let them actively participate in your daily routine, so that they feel part of the whole day. So wonderful. Thank you so much. I think there was a lot of takeaways from this particular question. Now I'll move on to the next question, and I remind you again, now other questions will be routed to each one of you individually. So you can take a little more time to answer, maybe about 5 minutes, and give a little more insight about that particular topic, because we will not be moving it around and giving it to the other panelists. All right. So the next thing, my question, I will be routing it to Sharon first. Okay, so Sharon, though many schools have started providing online classes to the students, lessons are often boring, and teachers do not know how to make the whole remote learning experience fun. So my question to you is, what are some of the methods that schools and teachers can use to make online learning effective and at the same time fun?
Okay. All right, Sushma, that's a very serious question, which needs a lot of discussion. So to start with, I must just say the COVID pandemic has changed education forever. And for everybody's information, the new term for education is moving into something called the hybrid education. So that's what we have here. And so what our teachers are now going to deal with is hybrid education, right? And while I was reading up about this, I came across something which is done by the World Economic Forum, okay, on their COVID action platform. And they have said they have actually identified 3 important areas that the teacher should work on first before thinking on anything else. So which means when the teachers work on that, that translates into school applying these things. So the first thing is that we are moving from a whole class atmosphere to a one-on-one personalized education. So the first point is personalized education. And the second point is constant upskilling. So, that's the new buzzword, that upskilling, okay, constant upskilling. And the third point is greater collaboration between traditional education providers and edtech players. So, first for all schools, the focus is on these 3 aspects before moving on to actually, getting on to the classes. So, first I want to talk about, the personalized education. Yeah. So my suggestion for schools is, while even I am planning it for my own school, the first thing I think we should do is we should have a discussion with a cross section of parents to understand their challenges, their problems, etc., and then make realistic goals of doing lessons. Because, see, what I'm thinking is we are at one end planning, thinking of big things. And, and for most teachers in their head, it is more about implementing what we have planned in a usual academic year. Yeah. So, but let me tell you, that's not going to happen. That's not real. That is not real. That's not realistic. All right. In fact, CBSE itself has brought out a document which says that cut down on your curriculum and just have the essentials. So my point is, the first thing is that we have to have a chat with the parents offline, understand everything, and then teachers and school should go on to setting up something that is more personalized to each region. Okay, because what's happening is when setting up curriculum, when I'm talking to my teachers and asking them to just think about what we should be doing, see, everybody will Google, and Google is going to give you a lot of ideas. But what is actually possible in the US may not be possible in Mumbai, may not be possible in Kerala. So that's what I'm telling you. We will have to customize it, one, to our school, to our region, to our place. And that depends upon the parents that you're dealing with. Do they have the connectivity? Do they have the resources? Do they all understand will they be able to support the child's learning? All right, so that's my first point on personalizing education. And that's a big topic to be discussed about. There's a lot of things that go into that, but that's my first point. My second point is on constant upscaling. Okay, so but one thing before I talk about upscaling, I want to just put in one point that actually, you know what? Teachers are the unsung heroes of this pandemic. Nobody is addressing us. But actually, when you look at it, here are these, the teachers who have completely looked at doing their job in a different way. So I think 3 cheers to the teachers. They're really working hard. They're really changing the way they're doing things. It's so, then teachers say it's so difficult to sit in front of a screen and talk to somebody who you is only worked with. You're not feeling their presence. Okay. So the next point is constant upscaling is necessary. So I think that, the schools should plan on having, a proper induction for the teachers into using technology, and and we'll have to keep upscaling the skills that are connected to that. And the third thing I feel is that, according to the study also that says, it's not only my thoughts, but the study says that there has to be, for every school, there has to be a strong collaboration between edtech players and what you have with you in terms of curriculum. Because, delivering curriculum through Zoom is not the only thing, because there is assessment on one side, you need the blackboard on one side. So there are a lot of tools, but teachers have to familiarize, and there has to be an edtech player with us to actually deliver it successfully. Yeah. So this is my bit of advice for the schools who are going to launch into the program. Yes, Sushma?
Okay. Sharon, I'm just going over what you said. I really like the term you used, hybrid education, because that is truly the term. I think that is one of the biggest terms that we can take away from today's program, because teachers have to realize that now we are going completely online. So even when the school starts offline, there will be a lot of online integration happening, because schools are all getting used to that model. So hybrid is going to be the new age education model. And the three basic things that everybody has to look into when it comes to the online classrooms are the personalized education. It's more personalized, it's not a full classroom. Then you need to keep upscaling. So it's very important that teachers are trained and they are properly inducted to bring themselves or to prepare themselves for the online education or the kind of education they have to impart to the students. And collaboration is very important at this stage, because we need to know what's happening in everywhere, and we need to get insights from everybody. So thank you so much.
Sushma, just 1 second. I just want to put in 2 things. So I would like, my reference for this particular point was COVID Action Platform of the World Economic Forum, because they give a lot of statistics which is very useful for us, which actually says that online education is actually more effective. So I believe the retention of children is 40 to 60% as compared to a classroom where is only 8 to 10%.
Oh, okay, that is really insightful.
I was shocked, and I kept reading it again whether I read it right. But that is the case, so I read it on this platform, so it should be right.
Yes.
So yeah, so so online education is not as bad as we think. Yeah. So that is it. And one more thing is that the University of Montreal, Quebec in Montreal, they have also done a very detailed study. I would like our viewers to listen to that. I mean, read through that as well.
Okay. So I think that is very, very true, because I think children, today's generation, they are digital natives. So for them, online is very comfortable. It's us who are digital migrants who find it very difficult. That's why we are fumbling today. But for them, it comes naturally to them. So that, I guess that's why there's more retention when it comes to online education.
See, that's the point they are saying, when they spoke about 40 to 60% retention in online education and only 8 to 10% from a classroom, I was really shocked. And that speaks volumes for online education, which we are fearing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sharon.
Yeah.
Pranita, I would like to ask the next question to you. So, children in the early years have developmental needs. We say they have different developmental areas where we need to give equal importance, be it their physical activity, be it their verbal skills, whatever it may be. And it is imperative that we cater to all of them. So, in a physical school, that's very easy because, we can actually tailor it very easily. But how do you think educators can plan? This is mainly for the teachers. How can they plan for ensuring that all the developmental needs are met with on a virtual platform?
Thank you. First of all, thank you so Thank you so much for such a wonderful question, because right now I know majority of the schools are planning to go for online method of teaching. Like the major concern and question that every single person have is how do we plan activities for early years children? Because it is, even in the physical classroom, teachers will have to work double to identify and connect with the children and get to know what is the individual need of the child in the classroom. So as we move on to the online platform, I really think learning should not be restricted to just worksheets, textbooks and notebooks. Like we said, we need to have a total restructuring of whatever we have created. Till now we have every single person has been focusing on like planning the activities which actually works in the physical classroom. So looking at the developmental and tackling the issues of the developmental delays and catering to the needs of the children, uh, we need to plan the activities based on the domains. We can actually think about planning the activity based on the skill sets that are required for the children to develop at this particular age. For example, we know as kindergarten children, they need to have lot of prerequisites before they enter into the normal academic process. I would like to give a couple of examples for the case. We know the brain development happens the maximum at this age group. So it is important for us to build and trigger all the parts of the brain which actually helps them grow and helps them apply in the future stage of their life. So rather than focusing on the subjects as such, I would request the teachers to plan the activity which actually helps them to build the skills and based on certain domains. With the domains that I mean, like we said, for kindergarten children, we need to focus on pre-writing skills. We need to focus on developing physical and motor skills. We need to focusing on building the foundation for numeracy and social and emotional, maybe the creative and art part. So what as a teacher or as educators, what we can do is how can we plan activities which are hands-on, which blends with certain amount of writing. Okay, writing and related to the classroom activities. So for example, if you look at specific domains and the skill set to be required when it comes to building the physical and fine motor activities, what we can think about is like they need to develop the finger grips to hold the pencil. For that, what are the activities we can plan for that? For example, if we can provide them with the activities with the clay. If the clay is not available, can't we do activities with dough? Then pouring, sorting activities, then paper cutting and tearing. All these things increase like enables the child to develop the finger and fine motor skills. Okay, this is one example for that specific domain. Then coming to the building the foundation for the numeracy skills, can we give our children activities based on sorting, stacking, which need only very limited resources and which are available at home? These are the foundation skills that they need, which can be taken to when they come to, by the time they come to the normal classroom, they will unknowingly they will learn all these basic skills which are required in this early years. And when it comes to pre-writing skills, instead of writing in paper, can we ask them to trace the patterns and letters in the grains or the salt tray? These are the kind of activities that I would suggest for the teachers with, when you plan for an activity for the child. Along with that, it would be really great if you could specify the learning outcome for each activity that you plan for, so that the parent as well as the child, like parent will know, when you communicate with the parent and tell them this is why we are doing this, when we do this activity, these are the learning outcomes that we get, that we expect. This is why we want your child to perform this activity. So with the specific learning outcome, you need to plan backwards, keeping in mind that the kind of skill set that you need to build. That is what I would suggest for the teachers to keep in mind when they plan for the activities. Also, a regular tracking system is required. So I would also recommend teachers to go at least live sessions once in a week, once or twice in a week, so that they could connect with the children and they could talk to them and see what they have learned throughout. Once they do the activity, have a discussion with the child, get from them, get to know them, so that you will understand where the child needs support. So in this, we need immense support from the parents also, because once they do the activity, parents can share the documents with the teachers, so that teacher will be able to track, parent will be able to track whether the teacher has met the requirement of that child. So I would definitely request all the teachers, when you plan for the activity, keep in mind the skill set that you need to develop in child at this point, and blend it with the hands-on and the normal worksheet kind of, but reduce the worksheets, because we don't want to burden parents with the homework. So activity will be fun for the child, he or she will be learning it unknowingly. So this would be my suggestion, Ms. Sushma. I would like to conclude my words with that.
Okay, thank you, Pranita. So, basically, what you're trying to say is teachers need to move away from what they're going to do in the classroom, and they need to kind of figure out what the skills the children need to develop at this age, and plan their activities, or more, or adapt their activities to meet that need, and maybe list out all the skills and activities that connect to each of the skills, so that the children don't miss out on anything, even if they're learning at home.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranita. Priya, this takes me, actually, Pranita has opened up a small arena there about using things from home. So I move on to Priya with that. Priya, though many schools have started providing online classes, one of major issue parents are facing is the non-availability of resources. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
how do you think, we can plan activities that engage children effectively with the limited resources available at home and still meet the learning outcomes? Can you give us some good examples if you have any?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sushma. First of all, let me say it was a delight listening to Pranita, because we're absolutely on the same wavelength. Okay. So it's basically moving from the where and the how, because essentially the whole concept is, where can we teach now that the physicality of the classroom is missing? Where? And from the where to how do we teach? Do we use the Zoom platform? Do we use this? Do we use that? So these are things where everybody is worried. If we can just tweak it and move from where and how to what do we teach differently, and we give the perspective as to why so, I think a lot of that pressure would be eased. Now, again, coming back to, again, taking the thread from what Pranita said, preparatory activities are extremely important. So normally in the conventional method of teaching, it's always the focus is on all the four skills, and we're in a hurry to make children write. It's like write, 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 and if the child does not write, it is worrisome, but there's not enough preparatory activities that have gone into it. That way, this is a beautiful time for parents to focus on the preparatory activities. Any thinking school and any involved educator would focus on experiential learning. So essentially, what happens is, a good teacher would carry a baskets of maybe fruits, vegetables to the classroom, and you have your the fruit salad day, and you have a vegetable day, and you have a color day. But if you look at your home space, I think it's a beautiful learning space because every nook and corner offers you something to teach and learn in a very child friendly manner. For a simple example, rubber bands. Okay. Now, an item like that, which is so commonplace, you could start again what Pranita mentioned, sorting of rubber bands. You could sort by color, you could sort by size, you could teach vocabulary. How do you stretch a rubber band? Okay. How do you crunch a rubber band? How do you pop a rubber band? So it's as simple as that. So there's vocabulary building. Okay. Now, if you give tweezers in the child's hand and you ask the child to pick the rubber bands with the tweezer and drop it into a utensil, that is fine motor skills. Again, the domains of development. So that is the fine motor skill development that is happening. A simple, mundane thing like newspaper, just tearing of newspapers, and you're talking of the standing line, you're talking of sleeping line, you're just doing the actions with the newspapers. Tear the papers. The child would have lots of strips of papers. Now what? Ask the child to do anything that the child would like with the paper. So they could construct. In fact, it would be really an eye opener to see the kind of creativity that children have. So you would maybe get ladders, you would get trees, you would get tables, whatever. There's so much of opportunity with something like a newspaper. If you just cut out a newspaper, if you just fold a newspaper and cut out a circle in the middle, then you even have a cape that you can wear. So the child can wear a cape and walk around, paint on the cape. So, the opportunities with something as mundane as a newspaper again is awesome. Moving on to, okay, now every homemaker would have cleared cupboards, I'm sure. So you have stacks and stacks of old clothes lying around. What do you do with that? If you have single colored t-shirts or saris or shirts, just cut it out into little pieces, either a square or a rectangle or a circle, whichever you may. So you can teach shapes with that. You could put different colored material together, then that helps with color identification. Okay. If you're a smarter mother, you would make two of the same. You can give matching activity. Okay. You don't need your conventional worksheets to do that. Thirdly, if you're a still smarter mother, you would maybe cut these bits into smaller pieces. Okay. And you have sorting. So you sort by color. You pick and sort by color. Again, these are all for hands-on motor skill activities. Other than this, get the child to listen to the sounds in the kitchen. Obviously, mothers may be busy in the kitchen because there's not much of outside help coming in. So you could listen to the cooker, you could listen to the utensils, you could listen to, the jingle, the mustard seeds. It sounds different from if you were to put salt in a container, and then you can have games like that. So it's about auditory skill as well. Other than this, bottle caps are another fantastic tool. So you could sort bottle caps by size. You could have spooning activities for younger children where they take the caps from one utensil and put it into another container. So that is one thing. Then gardening is fantastic. In fact, there are so many theories which talk about taking the child out and let them enjoy what nature has to provide. In fact, there's gross motor skill as well as fine motor skills in gardening. You can ask the children to take off the weeds. And as they do that, we can actually talk of the roots and the leaves and plants. And when the child is spotting to do that, that is a motor skill activity that is happening there, a gross motor skill. So there are so many, I mean, the possibilities are immense. It's just about thinking completely out of the box. So experiential learning that we talk about with so much belief and faith in is, it's like the home ground is offering that for free. So it's just a question, again, like Pranita said, of connecting the parent, guiding the parent properly. So I think there's a beautiful intertwining of roles as well, where now the mother would be more of a teacher, and the teacher would be mothering the mother to get it right. And I think when that happens in the right proportion, then our children will come out winners. Absolutely, no doubt about it. So I think it's just a question of whatever you look at, it's an opportunity to teach. And patience, love, care, connect, hugs, smiles, kisses, and you're through. That's it. Thank you so much, Sushma.
Thank you, Priya. I think I'm sure the teachers have got a list of activities that they are going to try out now with the students once the schools in Kerala open for the kindergarten. Wonderful ideas of all the mundane things that we usually overlook. And like you said, teachers have to support the parent more than the child to help them carry out the activities. Thank you so much, Priya. That was very enlightening. Next question is for Aisha. Aisha, you have been teaching online for some weeks now in Qatar, and I'm sure you've had all the ups and downs of the online teaching model. So, what are the challenges that facilitators face during online teaching and learning process, and how do you think we can overcome them?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sushma, for that question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So yes, when we started, we had a lot of challenges. Challenges in the sense there were challenges for teachers and there were challenges for parents, because when everything was normal and suddenly we had to shift our practices from a physical classroom into a digital platform. It was not easy because mainly the first point is for teachers. When I talk about teachers, the main challenge was we had very limited time to plan about our lessons, how to go about our lessons, how are we going to do it, which is the digital platform that we are going to use to deliver our sessions online. So these kind of a lot of things were going on in a teacher's mind, and like we said, we were in the middle of the year, and we were just about to begin our term 3. So we had all our planning in place, where we had prepared our lesson plans, we had prepared our curriculum maps accordingly. So we had to actually tweak it, pick out, and create a new curriculum map for term 3, where you cannot do everything. It is impossible to deliver exactly the way when children are at school and when they are at home. So it was a lot of pressure, and it was of course stressful for teachers, especially for the first couple of days. And that was one thing for the teachers. And second one was how to use and be handy with the system, how to merge videos, how to create videos, recording sessions, how to create worksheets or activities accordingly. So all these kind of things were the challenges mainly faced by the teachers. And the challenges faced by the parents were, of course, more than 50% of the parents faced the technical issue, where sometimes they do not have sufficient gadgets at home. Sometimes they do not know how to sign in and use the particular platform. Sometimes they are not comfortable with English. So because they are Arab speakers, so there were a lot of challenges for the parents as well. So how we overcame that situation is, first of all, for teachers, take it slow. Take it slow. And when you begin, do not hurry. It's okay to, skip on some of the activities. It's okay to focus on, just think of what will be the best for your child. and work accordingly. And when you plan something, just don't do something for the sake of doing. It should be something that can be done by the parents, and it is important as an educator to keep in mind and not to overburden the parent, because all of us are going through some kind of an emotional issues where the whole world is facing it. So we have to keep in mind that we do not overburden the parents, and we have to plan the activities accordingly. So for teachers, the first thing was to rearrange your curriculum maps and plan activities accordingly, and to create videos. Now, when we send videos, it is important that we don't send long videos. Your videos has to be short, okay, and try to make it very engaging. The recorded videos, we would suggest, especially for early years, not to go on live every day. I think it's not necessary to go live every day. It's okay if you can do it twice in a week, maybe, at the beginning of a week, and to just to, talk to the children and explain what they're going to do over the week. Just give them, because sometimes certain things, when parents explain it, sometimes, especially when parents do not understand English, the way they communicate to the children might be different. So that way you have to first give an idea what are the things that you're going to cover over the week. And towards the end of the week, you can again meet all the children and talk to them to see how they have worked with, because children are working with different resources and the learning outcome will be the same. So some would have worked, suppose you're saying sorting of objects like Ms. Priya was saying. So children can sort on based on, it can be sorting of spoons, it can be sorting of, the outcome is same. It is sorting of spoons and forks, or sorting of, pairing the socks, or sorting of soft objects, which is versus hard objects. So the outcome is same, and children would have done it. We will give them a list of examples where they can pick and choose from the resources available at home. So that's about the live sessions. And about the recorded videos, it is important to make it very lively and fun for the children. It's not that you select a link from the YouTube and you just send it home. It's not the right way to do it. The children should often see you, like every day they should see you and hear your voice, and they should know, okay, my teacher is there, and they feel that connection with you, because they see you every day, they hear your voice, they see you dancing or smiling and talking to them. So that personal connection is there with the child. That's important, because when children are at home, when we say that distant learning, that distant is there because you are here and doing saying something, and the children may not feel that connection with you. So that is very important. So that is the main key, that you have to keep the connection alive. You have to keep that connection strong with the child, so that children find learning happy and fun. And with the parents, how we overcame was, we had to create a video on step-by-step video on how to go, where to, how to download this file from the, on Android and on laptops, and how to sign in, where to go to get these files, how to download files, how to upload files of their students' videos and the photos. So and we have different categories of parents. Actually, we have parents who know all these things and they want more and more and more. They want us to send more and more, and they just want to keep the child engaged all the time. And some parents, they want to do, but they do not know how to go about it. They do not know, where do I go. They need that support. So we have these, and we have to balance between these two kind of parents. We have to support them. So we need to tell them. So for the first category of parents, we need to tell them it's okay for children to get bored sometimes. It's not that always, yeah, it's okay. It's not that I have parent texting me saying that, it's difficult to keep him engaged all the time. I have done all the activities that you have sent, and still there is time for the child. So it's okay. Sometimes the children can get bored. It's okay with that. So balance, and do not send so many activities which cannot be done at home. Just send what can be done at home by the parent and by the child. So that is very important. And secondly, with the parents who wants to do but does not know how to go about it, you have to support them. Really, you have to support them day and night, teachers, because choose a platform, you choose a tool, a particular platform, and you stick onto it, and you send everything through that platform so that they start using it. If you are choosing a particular platform and then you are, on the other hand, you're sending it on WhatsApp, then it becomes, they will never sign into your, the platform that you have chosen. So they will always stick on, and wait for resources on the WhatsApp. So just help them on WhatsApp on how to go about it, and then be there for them and push them. I think I text my parents every 2 to 3 days to see whether they have logged into, because we get to know who are the parents who have logged into our system, who have downloaded the files, who are the ones who are not coming online. So you cannot expect the parent or leave the parent, any family behind. You have to be constantly texting them, giving them a call, and push them and make them do it. So it is our responsibility as teachers to make sure that the parents actually downloading and doing at least minimum. We do not expect the parent to do, if they cannot do all of that, at least some, so that you as an educator, you as a teacher is happy that your child is doing so and so. So communication is really important. Communication
is a
is
little bit now, because we are running short of time. We have another 8 minutes.
All right. Yeah.
So we will, what we can do is more ideas. I feel we can actually compile it into a document and even send it out to the viewers, because I'm sure all these topics, we have so much to discuss. Everything will be a webinar of its own. Okay. So now let me just, what Aisha was saying is very important. It's very, teachers need to understand that parents are not experts in this. So we need to give them all the right instructions, and if possible, even in the vernacular language, because many of them may not be able to understand the instruction in English. So if it's Malayalam, it has to be given also in Malayalam so that they understand it better. So that's one thing I feel, we should be doing. So I move on to the next question fast. Karen, you are up next. When kindergarten teaching happens online, like as Aisha said, parents are involved, and there's no choice there. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's really not. So what are the kind of activities that teachers can plan to make sure parents are not burdened with the big part of the teaching process? And how can we restrict parents' involvement? Sometimes you need to restrict it as well. So how can we do that?
Yes, Shushma, thank you so much for that question. And I'm going to link it with Miss Priya and Miss Aisha, because they have given a lot of input exactly to what my answer is. And yes, the biggest concern is that we teachers should support our parents the best way we can, without them getting worried and burdened about anything. And we have to take into consideration simple ways and methods to help them at home with hands-on activities, because we know that if we burden the parents with a lot of worksheets and a lot of activities, we also know that the resources at home are very limited, and they may not be able to carry forward that activity. And this is what is going to bring a lot of tension and distress in the parents, like how are we going to do this activity? So a teacher has to plan very well how to go about these activities at home, so that she creates a very interesting atmosphere at home and very positive atmosphere, where the child is happy and the parent is observing the child and is amazed as what the child can do, without getting the parent too involved in the activity. So yes, we need to plan well, and I would like to share a few more examples, just like how Ms. Priya gave a couple of very good ideas for teachers to use. I would like to share a few more examples. We just did recently the bread spread activity. I love this activity because we know children like to eat. And here it's such a simple activity, but how is the child going to carry forward this activity? So to help the parent, all we've done is we've done a pre-recorded video which will guide the child to follow the simple ways on how to spread butter on the bread. And the parent, all the parent has to do is take that video, put it on, get a slice of bread or butter. And let me also say this, because in some homes, if there's no bread or there's no butter, they can use chapati, or they can use any bread that they have, pita bread, or a paratha, and they can use jam. So it's not necessary that they have to use bread and butter. So we're just trying to teach them how to do this various activity with the help of the recorded video that the teacher gives in. Now the parent plays this video, and all the child has to do is follow along with the teacher, and the teacher's instructions are very slow. So the child will never get confused and will follow along with the teacher. And the parent is so excited and cannot believe that the child can do this activity because it is so well planned by the teacher, and keeping in mind the concerns and the difficulties that the parents could overcome. So now regarding this activity, what basically are the outcomes is it enhances focus, fine motor skills, which enhances, strengthens their finger muscle control. And keeping in mind all these outcomes, the teacher plans the activity, and this develops in the child at home as a whole development plan for the child. Another nice activity I would like to also add on is buttoning the shirt. Fine motor skills.
Sorry, Karen, I think our time is up. I'm so sorry. I know there's so much more to speak, but time is of essence. So I would, I would pass the baton to Suman ma'am for the remarks.
So thank you, Sushma. Thank you, all the panelists. It was wonderful listening to you, all of you. There are so many different perspectives. So basically, the underlying spirit is the same. The underlying motives are the same. Underlying passion is the same. So that was wonderful to see. And yes, of course, we need to look at upscaling skills of teachers, of the communities, and families, how they support, and how educators, as educators, we are going to be supporting this online education. So this is where collaborative learning comes in. So I think this online learning is the best example of collaborative learning. All of us are collaborating. Teachers are helping teachers, students are helping each other, parents are helping each other, the whole family is involved. So we had a wonderful example of one family day celebrated in a school here in Kolkata that is a E.C.A I member. So Pyali, so she shared with us that in her school, they had a family day. So the whole family was online. So I think those kind of ideas, they're beautiful. They say it takes a village to raise the child. So here we are getting in families, we can't go out, we have to maintain the social distance, but at the same time, online, we can do this connection, we can bring everyone together, grandparents can help. And I, being a grandparent, I know the emotional connect that I'm establishing with my granddaughters and my grandchildren. They are all over the world. One is in Hong Kong, one is in Dubai. So, and one of my granddaughters, she studies in Hong Kong, but she's in India at present, and her online classes are going on. So time difference is there, but she gets up at 5 o'clock to attend to her class, and the whole household is awake. So everyone is helping her. Someone is feeding her, someone is making her sit with the lessons. So it is really wonderful how we are all involved. And as someone also said, I think most of you said that parents have to be good role models. So this is very important when you are showing that patience, and we are showing the hard work that you are doing to your children, they will automatically follow, and they will become better learners. So time doesn't do justice to this wonderful topic. It is a huge topic. So I think I'll leave it here and wish success. And one more little thing I wanted to mention, that, parents, they can also organize play dates. Children are missing their friends. So they can organize play dates with the families. So perhaps as educators, we can suggest this to them. So this is an idea also come from my granddaughter in Dubai. So they are the best teachers, as someone said, they are the digital natives and we are the immigrants. So they are giving us ideas. So thank you so much. Thank you, Sushma. Thank you, Greg, and the the Kerala committee and the Kerala territory. It was wonderful listening to you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Suman. I just want one more, just to finish, I would like to thank E.C.A. for this wonderful opportunity. A special thanks to our dear President Swati ma'am and our dear mentor Suman ma'am. Thank you, Manasi, who has been supporting us in the background. And thank you all the viewers. Thank you, panelists. Let's hope we can have a better session next time with more time to speak.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.